Hi everybody, you're very welcome to the last of our interviews actually for a little while, because thankfully we're getting back to some regular youth activity, so we won't have time for any more interviews, but hopefully it'll be something we'll revisit because they've been great, and we've gotten to meet some great people. This week we have Owen Ward with us, and Owen has gratefully decided to come on and have a chat with us and talk to us about a few of the things that he's up to. There's quite a long list. So I'll let Owen introduce himself and he can tell you a little about himself, and then we'll get going with our questions. So hi Owen, thanks for coming.
You're welcome. So hi everybody, my name is Owen and I'm from Galway City and I'm a member of the travelling community, and I currently work in NUI Galway in the Access Centre, and I'm also on the governing authority of NUI Galway. So for me, I suppose I come from a big family. I'm one of 8, and I was an early school leaver, so I've never set my junior cert or leaving certificate. I left quite early, and I thought that education was finished for me when I became a school leaver. Even though I always enjoyed education, it didn't work out for me at the time. However, a couple of years later, then I heard about an access program that was available at NUI Galway. And what an access program is, just for anybody that doesn't know what it is, it's basically an entry route into university for people from socioeconomic disadvantaged backgrounds. So for me, being an Irish traveller, I'm coming from a poor background, I fitted the criteria. So I was very fortunate that when I applied, I was successful. And I suppose that's how my journey progressed into higher education.
Why do you think the main reason education didn't work out for you on the secondary school level? What was the main reason, or can you remember, or was there a multitude of reasons?
There's a multitude of reasons, you know. I remember as a teacher now, when you know about all the supports that are required for students to be successful in education, when I reflect back upon my experience in post-primary school, I noticed that all the supports that I needed, like peer support, parent support, so on and so forth, even support from the school, that was all very weak. So even if I wanted to progress on, I just couldn't. There was too many barriers. There was just too many barriers for me. I remember by the time I got to my last, like when I started off, a lot of traveller students can relate to this. When you go to secondary school, we all kind of hang out together and support each other the best ever we can. But as the years progressed on, when I got into my final year, then, which was the last year that I was in secondary school, everybody had gone. So I was left by myself.
Yeah.
So it was inevitable then.
Yeah,
it was inevitable then. It wasn't going to happen. Yeah. You know, my parents also weren't 100% behind me because they value education, and a lot of the travelling community value education, but a different form of education, you know. So it was never on my parents' remit that I was ever going to like finish secondary school and go to university. That was just like, that was never going to happen.
And I'm sure, like most travellers of their generation, they probably didn't even finish primary school level, maybe. You know what I mean? So it was probably very unusual.
My parents are both born on the side of the road. So when you see those old images of the wagons and of the tents, and that's what my family were born into. And my mother, her primary school education is what she had. So she's my father used to call her a scholar because she was well able to read and all that stuff, but he couldn't. So even though he went to school, but they were very nomadic. I do believe my father was dyslexic or something like that. He didn't get the right support, so my father never could read or write, and all he could do was write his name, and it used to frustrate him, you know.
Yeah.
He used to say, you know, if I was educated, I'd be a millionaire. He used to tell us.
And you found yourself then going to NUIG, so one of the most prestigious colleges in the country. So how was that for you, being a young traveller, or how old were you when you went to NUIG?
So I came back in as a mature student. So I left school when I was about 16, so it was about 6 or 7 years. So I was about 23, 24. And for me, I remember the first day that I went to university that I was really excited, but then I was really nervous because it was a whole new adventure and stuff like that. So But I was very fortunate that when I did the Access program, when I walked into the room, there was 40 other people there who had similar experiences. So we're all kind of in it together,
Right.
you know, and I was very fortunate that I made very good friends. And one thing about the Access program is as well is that what I found that really helped me was the scaffolding of supports. You know, everybody is individually assessed, you know, and so while I was good at some things, I needed some help in other areas.
Right.
And that was all provided for me. And, you know, you know, all that support of like, you can do this, motivate you, empower you, you can do it, do it, you know. And there was lots of times when I was there and I was sitting there, and you know yourself, if you're doing an assignment or if you're getting ready for example, you're like, why did I do this to myself?
And
you
so
know,
now you're part of the NUI governing body, and you actually are a mentor for other young people from disadvantaged backgrounds like ethnic minorities, asylum seekers, and young travellers. So you can really show them through, you know, you've learned, you've been there, so you're not just talking to someone who's no idea what it's like. So do you feel like it's really helped you support other young people, the fact that you actually know the barriers, you know the hurdles, you know, you're not just talking about them because you read them in a book, you actually know them.
I've experienced it, I've lived experience, yeah. So I find that, again, going back to, just because I'm a traveller, I just don't connect to the traveller student. I connect to those from disadvantaged backgrounds and a wide, diverse range, because really and truly, you know, while we have similar issues, we have different issues too, but a lot of stuff that we can help each other out. And I know that students that I support, I can identify barriers and I can say, well, listen, like when they start the academic year, I can say, you'll be grand now for a while, but then around November time, you need to be getting ready for the pressure, you know? So all those little things, and they've really helped, even clubs and societies, and filling in application forms, being aware of scholarships, which there is a lot of financial supports, well-being supports, you name it. These things matter.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
these things matter. And it's, so basically I'm kind of like a big signpost, you know, helping them to go, and I'm supportive, you know, and
there's a specific NUID is quite unique. It has a specific scholarship program for young travellers, or for travellers.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct. So we were designated a University of Sanctuary of Ireland. So universities around Ireland have got this designation with regards to the supporting refugees and asylum seekers. But what makes us unique in NUI Galway is that we support refugees, asylum seekers, but also incorporated Irish travellers into it. And so we've done a lot of work, and I've been involved with our coordinator. He does an amazing work down there. And we, so the scholarships are available.
Very good.
Some went out last year.
Yeah.
And we've more. So if anybody's interested and hearing anything else about the University of Scholarships, just NUI Galway University of Sanctuary and apply, and I welcome you all.
Yeah, and for any of our guys, if you want anything, if you want to private message me, and I'd be able to get in contact with Owen for you to support you. And what subjects now do you teach in post-primary? What's your...
So I teach history. I'm a history teacher. Yeah, and I do CSPE as well. So I like the politics, and I'm interested in sociology and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. And would you like to see now in secondary school now through the NITRIS strategy, so the National Traveller and Roma Inclusion Strategy, they're looking now at including traveller culture into education from play school level right the way up. So would you love to see that now as part of the Irish history and things like that?
Yes, that's actually very important, because I believe that with our low stats of only 13% of travellers completing post-primary education, we need to feel that we belong and that we're welcome. The curriculum at this time is not inclusive enough.
No.
And therefore, I'm looking forward to when that's deeply embedded and enacted in all schools across Ireland. So I do believe the benefit of it, you know, to be able to walk in and to be able to connect to a subject or connect to the curriculum for any student from any diverse background is extremely, extremely important.
Yeah, because I used to be a school completion worker, so my job was to help young people complete school. It does exactly what it says in the tin. And the the thing that you mentioned earlier about young travellers sometimes feeling alone at school, and when their other traveller friends leave, and the feeling of being the only one. I've heard that numerous times from young travellers who wanted to leave. I had a young man who wanted to leave a month before his leaving cert because everyone else had gone, and you're like, oh my God.
You're nearly there.
You're nearly there, like literally you can see the finish line. So you know what I mean? It'd be like, be the equivalent for any young person. If you're the only of you in an environment, it must be very overwhelming and feeling like a place of.
It's hard. Like I support I mentor students as well who's in post-primary who hasn't come through yet.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm speaking with them and their parents and that, and making them aware of the supports that are available. And we're very fortunate as well in NUI Galway that we've done a lot of work, and like I co-founded I was one of the co-founders of the Minkers Swidden Society. So it's the first traveller student society in Galway with Jason Sherlock and other traveller students and that. And so that creates that space on campus away, you know what I mean? That it feeds back into that sense of belonging again that is needed, that we won't be alone.
Yeah.
Because university is busy. You know,
very.
it can be busy. But you do need peer support, and if you have the correct supports around you, you will succeed. You will be successful, you know.
Yeah.
But I think what's very important as well is that if you are a student now in post-primary school and you're thinking about going to university, the first step I would advise you to do is have a conversation with your career guidance teacher, and they would have lots of information about how to access third level education, how the supports that are available, financial well-being, you name it. It's a big range of supports that are available, and ask them and start with that then. And then maybe after that, maybe contact a local organization, maybe a traveller organization or a local support group and stuff like that, and contact the university. Reach out to the university.
Yeah.
You know, there's loads of supports available, and you know, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, and what we do now, we're lucky enough now, we seem to be retaining our older young travellers as such. So we've had 5 young people do the Leaving Cert this year, or Leaving Cert equivalent through Youth Reach or whatever. And we've another good few coming along now in the next few years. And it's something we're very excited, you know, to the idea of becoming and going to college, and that the world is wide open to them. So part of the reason of us doing these interviews was to interview travellers from all over Ireland who were qualified and unqualified and all these different things from all different walks of life, is to show them how open it is. Just when you were talking there about going back to secondary school, I remember one young man I was working with in particular, he couldn't handle the fact the school nearly went overboard on using him as a poster boy for going through school and being a young traveller. And he said the pressure then he felt was too much. So I nearly had to go to the teachers and go, you're brilliant, but you nearly are being too brilliant. Maybe just to ease up a little bit on the, you know, because no one wants that amount of pressure on either. So
it's very important that you as an individual student are comfortable.
Yes.
It's not an easy road you're going down, and you will get the support. You can do it. It can be done, but don't do anything you don't want to do. Say no. If somebody wants, if you're uncomfortable doing something, say no. It's okay to say no. You know, and if you want to participate, do. I have come across that with students as well, you know.
It's a hard balance to get right, because as you said, some young people need the push and they need to be, you know, you can do it, and then other young people need it slowly and gently, you know, kind of a drip feeding effect really of being able to stay within it. So what is your favorite part of history? What part of history would be the bit that, you know, if I could give you a time machine and go, here you go, you can go back in time and be part of that. What would you like to be part of?
I quite enjoyed the Victorian era and stuff like that. So that kind of era is what my favorite is. Some of them would probably be expecting me to say the 1916 or something like that.
No, well, yeah, like a lot of people, you know, be part of some big revolutionary.
Quite broad, really, quite broad. But what I am interested in, I suppose, is traveller history.
Right.
And I am looking forward to seeing the diversification of the curriculum, and I know that's coming down along the line, and particularly not just with travellers, but also, you know, with the Black Matters movement and stuff like that. You know, how diverse our schools are now. So I know there's a lot of good people doing a lot of good work, and I'm sure that there'll be good outcomes in the next couple of years.
I know it is, and like it is so important, and you know, and there can be very kind of swiping remarks like, oh, Black Lives Matter, well, all lives matter. And you're kind of like going, that's like saying if you got injured and an ambulance came to check your broken leg, they would check all your other bones and make sure they were okay, but they would then concentrate on your broken leg. So I think people, you know, all bones matter, all everything matters, but sometimes some sections of society need a little bit more focus. And like, it is something we do know in Ireland at times. Racism towards travellers can almost be acceptable. You know, it can almost be the norm to say, or to generalize the whole travelling community and to say, oh, well, travellers are, or travellers, you know what I mean? Where, you know, that's not acceptable. And we do need to make big changes to hold our hands up and make people very accountable for even suggesting that, you know, all travellers are anything, you know. So listen, thank you so much for coming on and speaking to us. And I do have Owen's details, which you might be sorry for giving them to me, but we will make it very possible for any young person who wants to even just have a chat with you, or even we might, when all this craziness is over and travel restrictions are lifted, it's something we could organise as a trip to Galway and things like that if people want it.
We'll welcome you with open arms.
Yeah, and just on a final note to say, I know you're after getting a new post, and with the Department of Justice and Equality as part of the Anti-Racism Committee. I'm delighted to hear that, because, you know, no better man than yourself to be able to be on that committee. So thank you so much for coming talking to us today, and the best of luck with all the things you're doing. I don't know how you're going to manage all the different things.
Manage it.
Teaching, governing body, mentor, new committee, you know, it's a lot, but it's brilliant. It's brilliant to see that it's happening from people who know exactly what they're talking about as well, because they have the experience. So congratulations on your new post.
Thank you.
Bye
bye everyone.
Thanks.